Look at the space around you right now. The screen you are watching, the chair you are sitting on, the solid walls of the room enclosing you. It all feels completely solid, absolute, and undeniably real. We live our lives with a fundamental assumption that our eyes are open windows, faithfully showing us the objective truth of the outside world. But modern cognitive science and philosophy reveal a deeply unsettling reality. The truth is, all of this is an illusion. It is a deception so perfect that you can never consciously catch it in the act. Your eyes, your ears, your skin, none of them display external reality as it actually is. Your brain was never designed to perceive objective truth. It was built for something entirely different. For centuries, humanity believed that our senses evolved to become more and more accurate over time. We assumed that the closer an organism's perception is to absolute reality, the better its chances of survival in a hostile world. But modern evolutionary game theory and quantum physics have turned this logic completely on its head. The primary goal of evolution is not to show you the truth. Evolution operates on a single, ruthless rule: survive long enough to pass on your genetic code. And in that brutal struggle for survival, perceiving objective reality can actually become your greatest evolutionary disadvantage. Today, let's dismantle this interface and explore the biological simulation we are trapped inside. To understand this counterintuitive concept, we have to look at the mathematical models of evolutionary biology. Imagine two distinct organisms living in a primeval jungle millions of years ago. Let's call them organism A and organism B. Organism A is a truth seeker. It possesses a highly advanced brain that perceives the world exactly as it exists objectively. When a venomous predator approaches, organism A's brain consumes massive amounts of metabolic energy to calculate the exact atomic structure, the precise quantum states, and the literal physical dimensions of the threat. It is observing raw reality. Now consider organism B. Organism B does not care about absolute truth. Its brain is highly optimized, simple, and incredibly cheap to run metabolically. When the exact same predator approaches, organism B's brain does not waste time calculating physics or atomic arrangements. It simply flashes a highly compressed, urgent mental shortcut, a bright red icon that reads, "Danger, run." Ask yourself, which of these two will survive? By the time organism A finishes calculating the complex mathematics of objective reality, the predator has already consumed it. Organism B, meanwhile, relies on a crude visual shortcut, saves its life, and successfully passes its genes to the next generation. Organism A, by looking directly at the truth, goes extinct. Cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman ran thousands of evolutionary game theory simulations on supercomputers to test this exact principle. He programmed mathematical formulas representing truth seeking organisms and pitted them against organisms tuned strictly to fitness or survival parameters. The results were absolute. In every single simulation, under every imaginable scenario, the truth seeking organism was systematically driven to extinction by the organism that relied on survival shortcuts. Nature cannot afford the truth. Perceiving absolute reality requires an immense amount of cognitive energy and processing time, luxuries that, in a state of nature, will get you killed. Therefore, over millions of years of natural selection, our brains did not evolve to be truth detectors. They evolved to be radical filters. Your brain actively hides the true universe from you, presenting a simplified, cartoonish version in its place. If physical reality isn't the absolute truth, then what exactly is it? The best way to understand our perception is to view it as a computer desktop interface. When you are working on your laptop and want to delete a file, what do you see on your screen? You see a neat little blue square icon, which you drag and drop into an icon of a trash bin. It feels as though a physical object moved across a glass screen. But is that what is actually happening inside the computer? Absolutely not. Inside the machine, there is no blue square, there is no trash bin. The true reality of the computer is a chaotic, blinding maze of millions of silicon transistors, shifting electrical voltages, magnetic fields, and endless lines of binary code. If you had to manually manipulate the electrical voltages of millions of transistors just to write an email or watch a video, you would never be able to use the machine. It is far too complex. So, computer engineers created a user interface to intentionally hide the truth from you, allowing you to interact with the system productively. This is the ultimate insight of modern cognitive science. Space, time, and physical matter, the objects we touch, the vast distances between stars, the steady flow of seconds, are not the objective truth of the cosmos. Space and time constitute the human desktop interface. A car, a tree, or a stone, these are not fundamental truths. They are just icons on our biological desktop. A piece of fruit you see on a table is merely a fitness icon designed to tell your brain that consuming it yields energy. Its true quantum physical state remains entirely hidden from us because our brain were only wired to interact with the interface. Our fatal flaw is that we mistake the interface for reality. We look at the desktop icon and believe we are looking at the core of the computer. In reality, we are just looking at a beautiful screensaver engineered to keep our primitive biological bodies functional. Even within our customized interface, our biological hardware is shockingly restricted. We pride ourselves on our sight, our technology, and our empirical observation. Yet science demonstrates that we are living in near total darkness. The entire spectrum of light waves traveling through the universe is known as electromagnetic spectrum. Of this immense spectrum, human eyes can only detect a microscopic sliver called visible light. Do you know how much of the universe that actually accounts for? It is less than 1%, roughly 0.003%. Infrared, ultraviolet, X rays, gamma rays, and radio frequencies are tearing through your room and passing through your body at this very millisecond. The universe is screaming with information, but our biological interface is completely deaf to it. If your eyes were tuned to see ultraviolet light, the world would instantly become unrecognizable. If you could perceive magnetic fields, the sky would be filled with illuminated migratory highways of birds. Our brain is a data compression machine. It throws 99% of the universe's raw data into the trash bin because if it opened that floodgate, your consciousness would instantly suffer catastrophic overload. Consider how easily our interface can be hacked. Think of optical illusions, phantom sounds, or the simple act of dreaming at night, where your brain constructs an entire vivid universe out of nothing while you lie motionless in a dark room. Your brain does not require external truth to manufacture a reality, it only requires a stable simulation. We are trapped in a simulation that wasn't coded by a software engineer, but sculpted over millions of years of natural selection solely to preserve our lives. We live in the blind spot of our own biology. This leaves us with a profound existential predicament. If our brains are intentionally built to obscure the truth, and if space and time are merely icons on a desktop screen, then what lies outside the computer? What is objective reality when humans are not looking at it? The founding fathers of quantum mechanics, like Niels Bohr and Werner Heisenberg, grappled with this exact mystery. When we are not observing a subatomic particle, it does not exist as a solid object in space. It exists merely as a wave of probabilities, much like a mathematical concept. The moment we look at it, our interface renders it into a solid icon. This implies the act of observation itself is actively generating our physical reality. We are remarkably similar to characters inside a highly advanced open world video game. The character in the game believes the mountains in the distance are permanent, solid stone. But if they could look behind the screen, they would realize those mountains only exist as lines of rendering code when the player is actively facing them. Turn away, and the landscape ceases to be rendered. Yet, within this unsettling reality lies the absolute triumph of the human condition. Our brains may be primitive instruments constructed from the dust of the earth, optimized only for basic survival and reproduction. But human consciousness possesses an intellectual thirst that refuses to accept the boundaries of this biological cage. Through science, mathematics, and rigorous philosophy, an organism trapped inside a restricted biological interface has successfully managed to deduce that it is inside an interface. We built telescopes to capture the invisible light, devised equations to map the unseeable quantum realm, and weaponized philosophy to question the reliability of our own minds. We may not be able to look at raw data directly with our eyes, but we can capture its true nature with our intellect. We are a simulation that has broken its own programming, peering past the screen, determined to understand the architecture of the cosmos. And perhaps that relentless pursuit is exactly what makes us human. If you like this video, don't forget to share it with your loved ones. This is Ali Farhan Bhatti. You're watching Ali Farhan Bhatti official YouTube channel. And friends, as always, stay inquisitive.